All right, here we go. Today we have Los Angeles royalty in the building. NBA Hall of Famer, 5-time NBA champion with the Showtime Lakers, former Coach of the Year with the LA Sparks, former NBA Defensive Player of the Year, 8-time selection to NBA's All-Defensive Team, and master of the Koopa Loop, Michael Cooper. Welcome to Vlad TV.
Thank you, Vlad, for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Huge fan. It's an honor to have you here, especially in LA.
Thank you. You know what? That was an interesting intro for me. I didn't, yeah. So you're knowledgeable about what I've been doing, okay? But thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I want to start in the very beginning. So born and raised in Los Angeles.
Pasadena.
Okay. Just kind of Los Angeles as a whole. So what was LA like in the 60s and 70s?
Growing up in Pasadena, and again, really, there's two distinctions there. You know, LA is like more cityish. Pasadena is like a suburb, but it was like we raised up in Altadena, like in the country. So it was very calm. Meek went to Pasadena High School. Grew up with my grandmother. She had 10 kids, and they had kids. So I grew up in a big family. There was like always 15, 16 of us. And then some things happened where my mom had to relocate. And she left me with my grandmother at around the age of 8, 9, somewhere in there, 10. And she went to San Francisco, we later found out. And she was working up there. But I've always enjoyed living with my grandmother, our Jessie Butler. She passed away now, but life was good. It was very, very simple back then.
Well, didn't your dad abandon you when you were a baby?
Yeah, my dad was a woman beater. And see, my mom had 4 brothers, and they wasn't allowing that. So when he started hitting on her, putting his hands on her, they told him, yeah, that ain't happening. My mom wasn't taking it either. So he ended up leaving when I was like 5. That was the last time I saw him. I was Christmas. It was 2 days before Christmas, and he told me he was going to get me these cowboy guns and a hat and a little sheriff vest. And I sat by this big picture window, man, waited for him. And he never came. And that was the last time I saw him in 2 days until I actually got drafted in the NBA.
Well, you mentioned that your dad was abusive to your mom. Didn't he later kill someone that was like your mom's friend?
Well, that was my stepfather.
Oh, that was your stepfather.
My mom remarried. She divorced him.
Oh.
And then she married a guy named Phil, full-blooded Cherokee Indian. And he was the son of a chief. And he used to drink alcohol. And he'd walk around the house dressed up like an Indian. I mean, Phil was about 6'4", very attractive guy. And he'd walk around getting drunk, and he'd, woo, 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 and all of that. And then when he and my mom broke up, then he was trying to get her back. He was so upset and so in love that he tried to kill her. And my mom was dating. She was, you know how they say Papa was a Rolling Stone? My mom was a Rolling Stone.
Had a lot of guys around?
Yeah, okay. She got around.
All right.
But you know what? She had a lot of love for us. She was a woman that was dedicated. She was a RN nurse, and she was all about making it happen. So she worked here in Los Angeles at LA Memorial Hospital. And then when things happened, when that situation happened where he tried to kill her, she had left and come back to LA, and she ended up going back to San Francisco and staying up there.
Well, who did he kill afterwards?
He killed my mom's boyfriend.
Oh.
Yeah, because she had divorced him. Well, they're in the process of it.
Uh-huh.
And he didn't want her to divorce her, so he wanted her back. So she was dating this guy named Joe who lived out in Monrovia. And Joe was about 6'3", 350 pounds. And I don't think there was anything intimate, but they were having a relationship. And she went over his house. Somehow he found out. And I'm hearing all this from my grandmother. All this because they hid all this from us. So that's how I know. But then when I eventually got back with my mom, when I was probably about 15, 16, she came back. And then she kind of like told me the whole story.
Well, when you were 5 years old, you had a really bad injury.
Yep. 5 years old. My grandmother, one of my uncles loved dogs. He had a German Shepherd. And she had puppies. And this Saturday morning, the puppies were coming out on the porch and everything. And, back in the old days, they used to buy the Folgers coffee cups, coffee in the grind, in the big old Folger cans. And then we cut the top of it off. And usually you cut the whole top off. For some reason, somebody left the top on. But what you do is you use bacon grease or all the chicken grease that you have, they pour it in that can. and they sit it on the back porch. And the dogs had knocked it over, so the can was on the side, but that top was on. So I accidentally slipped and fell and cut my knee to the bone, 102 stitches, and it was just bad.
Right, 102 stitches.
Yeah, imagine a little guy like me so skinny. It was like it had went all the way down and nicked the bone too, so it was cut open. So I remember my grandmother, after they did the surgery that day, I had to stay up for like 2 days. She didn't want me to go to sleep. And I remember her I'd sleep for 15 minutes. She'd wake me up. Michael, you all right? Get up. So then as we went on, the doctor said I would never walk again. So
yeah,
that was, but she was a very religious woman, my grandmother. She prayed for me, and I believe, that God works in mysterious ways. And not only was I able to walk, this is my best jumping leg.
Wow.
I could jump off
It's
that
the other way
ledge.
around.
Yeah.